everybody, it's me, Heather, and you are here with the review with Heather's Passion Academy. Again, I'm Heather. And today, or right now, we are reviewing the Never Ever Mets, and this is season one. Can y'all believe we are still in the same season? Season one, episode 7 of the Never Ever Mets. The title of that particular the title of this one is The Newly Met Game. So like I said, if you guys have not seen this show yet, this is the first season of it. Let me get my comb out the way. This is the first season of the show. And it's on. If you haven't seen it before, it's on. This is the first season. The premise of the show, of course, is that you have people who have never ever met, but they've been together virtually on different sites. So they've had different dealings with each other virtually. So this is the first time in person they get to hang out and see what their I guess what their connection is all about. So this episode again is called the Newly Met Game. So let's jump right into it because there is a lot. Okay, let's go on here. So this scene opens up this season. This particular episode opens up with Greg and Millie again. They're still with Dr. Allie. Greg and Millie are sharing some of their story. Greg starts to share his story with Dr. Allie and Millie about his sexual abuse. And so at first it seems like he was hesitant to share, and Millie also looked like she wasn't really interested in his story. And then she decides that she's going to support him as he shares his experience. Um, Dr. Allie does thank him, for taking the opportunity to share with them, because I know it's hard, especially when you're talking about young men having to share their experience with sexual abuse. There's a lot of shame. And he said that there was a lot of shame that was associated with what he was doing, as far as sharing or just admitting that he had, that this happened to him, not knowing how to make it not happen. But, again, when it's especially with young people, they can't stop a lot of times what's going on, or don't even know how to make it stop. Um, so Dr. Allie does thank him for trusting them with his story. He felt embarrassed at the time, and Millie was putting a reassuring hand on him, let him know everything is okay. And she was telling them that sharing this experience may be a bonding situation for them. Millie says that she was glad that, at some point they're able to talk a little bit more about what actually happened. So I'm glad for them that this is something that they could talk about without it becoming, I guess, weird or odd, for lack of a better way of saying it. Dr. Allie to me is a really good, um, as far as I'm concerned, she's really good at making people feel um, at ease, being able to share their story without them feeling as though they're going to be judged. She encourages the conversation, but she also gives them the reinforcement to let them know that it is a good thing to have that conversation. So again, Millie's just letting him know, don't run from your truth. This is something that, if it's something that you want to talk about, you can talk about it. He wants to know, if she going to run away from him, now knowing this truth about him. And she says she's not going anywhere. So hopefully, this is a promising situation where we're going to see uh, their relationship flourish even more. Like, I want to be hopeful for them, but we got to see, y'all. We just got to see. So in the next scene, we are looking at Millie talking to the guys, and she's like, "Hey guys, I'm trying to plan something special for Greg's birthday." She's, knows that his birthday is coming up. She wants them to be prepared. She's doing a '90s theme. She's trying to go all out. So she's letting the guys know, "Hey guys, If you want to, I just want to let y'all know so nobody be surprised, but just kind of like be cool about not telling him or whatever. Then, y'all boy Aaron, he just decides, well, if you don't want nobody to know, don't let the ladies know if you want to keep it a surprise. Aaron, shut up, please. Aaron, I'm tired of you. Whew, that's big Aaron, y'all. He always got something to say. But yeah, he always talking about people uh running and talking and stuff when he and his girlfriend the biggest gossips out there. I just don't understand. Y'all, so the couples come on in, and so you now have the couples come in and meet with Saranda. She invites them to come on outside. So you have the ladies on one side, you have the fellas on the other side, and they decide to play a game. She's introducing them to a game called On the Same Page. So basically, they're going to see if they are really in sync with each other with the answers. They're going to be asked a question. They're supposed to write the answers down, and in those answers, they're going to see if they really are in sync with their partner. And y'all know how these type of shows can go. They can be in sync or out of sync. So it seems like it's and the answers are if the answers are right, then those books that they have on the little bench, they're supposed to put their answers there. Now, if the answer is wrong, they need to put those in the shredder. Lauren says, I just watched this. I've been looking for someone to discuss this with. Well, listen, I'm discussing it because this whole season has been a problem and a half. You understand me? A whole problem, because I don't know who came up with this show. But yeah. So feel free to keep chatting in the in the comments, and we'll talk about it, especially this episode. So they're going through the questions. And what I notice about the questions are, some of these are like really, soft pitch questions. Like, you guys should know the answer to some of these things if you've been hanging around with each other. That's just what I think. So like some of the questions, it starts out with Shay and Josh, of course, Gregg and Millie, Dymond and Aaron. They're pretty much on the same page there. She's answered questions, they're doing this. She answer questions, they answer it. Everybody's getting a good laugh though about the answers that were wrong, because some of them just way off. And then you see Millie starts to get a little agitated because she's really seeing that Gregg doesn't really know that many things about her as she knows about him, or as she feels like he should know about her. So if I just want her to chill out just a little bit. I get it, because it's frustrating. If you've been talking to somebody, they've been talking on the phone for like 3 years. So it feels like they should know that much about you, but you know, you could be overlooking some things, or he just doesn't seem to think that those things are important to him. So, you just have to see what's going on with that. So I can see how it can be frustrating. So, ooh, y'all. She says they're gonna have to be on the same page in order for them to be more intimate. Listen, if you're trying to get down and do the horizontal polka, you're gonna have to get to know more about your partner so they can feel more comfortable with you. It just seems like you need to do this. It would seem like everything, I don't know. They just need to improve on their communication. That's just what this is showing. So one question was about obstacles that they need to overcome. And the thing about it was, when they were talking about overcoming obstacles, some people are like, communication, we got this and that. Josh and Shay. Josh said communication. Shay said the baby. Now, here's the thing. They've been together in a relationship for 12 years. And now Josh has a 3-year-old that does not belong to Shay. And so she talked about that point where he came to her, told her about the situation, and they didn't talk for 2 years. And then, I'm just trying to figure out why she talked to him after that anyway. But anyway, she says he reached out to her like nothing happened, and she has trust issues about this. And my thing is, you answer the phone, baby girl. Like, it's real simple to just not answer. Y'all didn't have any ties. Y'all hadn't even seen each other in person. Y'all just had dealings with each other over the internet. Girl, don't answer the phone. Don't do it. And anyway, so she says she still has, trouble regarding that as far as her trust issues are concerned. So Dymond and Aaron also say it's when he proposed to someone else. Y'all, when he proposed to listen to this. You're in a virtual relationship. And the thing that's bothering y'all is the fact that someone that you're in a virtual relationship, someone that you're not even have never been in the same room with, but just kind of texting back and forth and being on FaceTime, proposes to someone else. I think that's a big red flag. I mean, I'm just saying. Anyway, he said, Taronda asked him to kind of expound on those things. And he said, I don't want to talk about it. But I'm like, you and Dymond want to talk about everybody else's business. So now when we talk about your stuff, you don't want to talk about it? Yeah, whatever. Okay. It's just problematic for me. Whew. So Millie and Gregg still ain't answering questions on the same, they're still not on the same page, and that's okay. That's okay. But of course, they're both becoming frustrated. And Greg, like, oh, it's gonna be a cold night. Now, this is what I find interesting though. Like when they start getting to talk about, they talking about stuff like, oh, what's your, favorite food, blah, blah, blah. They don't know that. But you ask somebody, oh, what's your favorite position? Then they seem to know quick answers to stuff like that. Let's see. That's Josh. That's that. He said that's her favorite position, and Shay agreed. Let's see who else. Well, this one right here, she said laundry, but that was about something else. See, Shay said cowgirl. This is Greg. What's her favorite position? Missionary. Look at that. Now they know they have that missionary. Yeah, yeah. Look at Dymond. Her favorite. If you can't see that says top. So she likes being on top. And then Aaron says riding me. Now here's what I have a question about. And I don't know, like if you've been watching from the beginning, Dymond said, she wasn't going to do anything until marriage. So I found it interesting that Aaron wrote riding me, like in particular him. So I don't know if she went back on her word or what. I'm not really sure. Not sure at all. Yeah. That was funny to me. So it was a lot of other little things here and there that they asked questions about. Then they ask about your birthday, child. Oh yeah, guilty pleasure. Guilty pleasure. Now, oh, let me go back. Okay, so these people, cowgirl missionary, they was wrong. So shred that. Oh, this is another thing. The other couple that wasn't right, like Jody and Aaron. Baby, Jody and Aaron, they on the struggle bus of being connected. But we know she says 69, Aaron says standing 69. So there's that. Again. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So birthdays. When is her birthday? That was the question. They asked, when is the person who you're dating, the lady friend, when is her birthday? And Josh says June 30th. And Shay's birthday is June 30th. And then this is Jody. Her birthday is November 21st. Aaron says November 21st, 1990. She's a Scorpio. Look at that. So he had it down. Now this is Millie. Greg says June 1st. Millie says, my birthday is June 21st. Now, let me tell you something. There's a difference between a June 1st and a June 21st birthday. There's a difference between being a Gemini and being a Cancer. I need y'all to figure those things out. That really got on her nerves because how you gonna know her favorite position but not gonna know her birthday? So she did have problems with that. She just had problems with that. So the guilty pleasure. They asked, "What's your guilty pleasure?" Josh and Shay smoking weed. They knew that, y'all. Aaron and Dymond. He said sucking toes. So I was thinking when you say guilty pleasure, that's stuff like, oh, eating ice cream in bed or, running out in the rain or whatever. I yeah. This one right here, he said he loves to receive oral. And his child, Sandia, his girlfriend says sex. Here's the thing with that. I find that interesting as well. He always talk about what, he's not talking about what he can do for someone else. He trying to get something for someone else. Anyway, it's just a small thing. It's a little thing, but it's a big thing for me as far as those relationships are concerned and how a lot of them are wondering why they're not on the same page sexually. It's very interesting to me. Yeah, Greg got that birthday wrong, so I'm not really sure, you know, I don't know. I ain't really sure how they're gonna do this. Now, what I also found interesting is Big Aaron still running his mouth about Jody and Little Aaron because he like, oh, I just don't see. I'm confused. How are they on the same page? Look, mind your own toe sucking business. Deal with that. Just deal with that. Anyway, I'm trying not to judge, but I'm a judge. Millie had said candy. Greg said women. It was a lot. It was a lot. So Taronda says Josh and Shay had the most answers correct. Well, they have been having dealings with each other for over 12 years. So you kind of expect that they know a little bit more about each other. And I'm just sitting here thinking, what did they win? Because they're making a big deal of this. She's like, yay, y'all won the thing. What we find out is they won nothing. They won nothing. I thought they would get like a personal chef to cook for them. Like she would, say y'all get a day out and go to Six Flags or whatever it is, but they got nothing. No type of nothing. Like this would have been a good opportunity for the couple that won to have a prize and go and connect even more without being around the other people in the house. And y'all just missed an opportunity. Y'all gonna have to do better. You just gonna have to do better. So moving back into the house, Chris and Greg and Lil Aaron are talking about the exercise. And like they said, this really messed things up. Chris was telling him, 3 steps forward, 1 step back. Lil Aaron says, well, it's more like a benchmark for you to, see what you need to improve on. And you got to get some answers wrong, but you're just not failing. It's not like, things are over. It's just, what you need to improve on now. This is one of those things that, you didn't know it. So go and ask those questions so you can get some clarifying answers. Millie is up with the ladies and she's saying that, it's the little things for her that make or break relationships. And I think, and she's like, well, if you're my loved one or my boyfriend or whatever, I expect you to know my birthday. And, that's a little thing. And I'm like, well, actually, birthdays, to me, I feel like a birthday is a big thing because you only have one birthday. I just think that that's something that you would want to work on and know more about your partner. So, you know, I guess it's just the way that you look at it, right? So I'm looking at, um, a lot of the ladies are talking about this. The other thing that they're asking now, this is something that just kind of gets me about some of the people in the um I guess there's nothing else to talk about too. And I guess that's the thing. Um, a lot of them are asking, had have you done the sex? Have y'all had the stuffs together? And a lot of them are like, no. Even though that everybody's trying to get a separate room, nobody's really having sex but Shay and Josh. That's what it seemed like to me. So they're saying they're surprised that it hadn't happened now for Shay, for Gregg and Millie. And he said, well, I'm actually focused on a mental. I, I think um there's just too much going on with everybody. I think that it's really sad that they're just really worried about having sex. And I mean, you can have sex at any time. I ain't gonna begrudge you your sex. But if it hasn't happened by now, it's probably because there's something else that you need to do within that relationship. Anyway, he says he can see forever, so he's not really worried about that. So why rush something that can, be forever? They just have a lot of work to do. So Aaron is talking about, Jody as far as, what he's planning on doing. He has a photo shoot plan for her and hoping that they can get a little closer. He messed up. He feel like he messed up big time with the first date, not knowing how to open up a wine bottle. And he just has a lot of work to do. And he said also, had he not pushed those beds together the other night, then maybe he could have gotten a little farther with her. But he's kind of still in the doghouse, because of that, because the other guys pushed him to do that. But and I'm like, baby, that's not the reason. It's just that she's not attracted to you. That's all. She's not attracted to you, and it's nothing wrong with that. Just understand where y'all are. She's not attracted to you. Okay, she is not attracted to you. It's okay. This same day, Chris and Sandia's people are supposed to come over, and Jody and Aaron are headed out to the date. He's really trying to make up for the date, but looking when they're in the car, they're just kind of driving. Um, they're not even talking. It doesn't look like. She says she's still a little upset about some of the things that happened. And then they get to the site and they both, and they talk about how they have in common. They like cosplaying and things like that. They like taking pictures. They like doing all those extravagant things. So that maybe this is a bonding experience for the two of them. Child, Chris' friend comes over. I don't like him. I don't like the way. I just he's worried about the only thing that his friend keeps asking him, did you guys smash? I'm like, bruh, these people just met. Again, if people are going to do it, they're going to do it. But to just constantly think that just because that's how you operate doesn't mean that's how everybody else operates. I don't know why he invited this particular friend. Maybe he was the only one available. But it made him look a lot worse as far as I'm concerned. He tells his friend he's trying to do things differently with Sandia than he's done in the past. Um, I don't know. Sometimes your friends, are the birds of the feather that you've been flocking with. So you got to be careful about the people that you're bringing around, especially if you're trying to turn over a new leaf. And he don't look like he turned over no leaves at all. Not at all. I just don't see it. Um, so I don't know. Again, one of the reasons they haven't done whatever they're gonna do is because they had a whole roommate situation for a while. But now that they are in their own situation, things still haven't happened. That means that they're not ready yet. But their friend sure is pushing for it. Sandia's best friend, Stephanie, comes over. They chat about her relationship with Chris so far. The friend was like, do you see a future with him? She says yes. On the first day, all the ladies thought he was an a-hole, but he's made some changes. And I'm seeing those things. And I'm like, okay, girl, but I don't know. Chris got this friend that's really trying to, let everybody know he ain't changing. And he has a friend that's not interested in him changing. So that also means a lot of times it's going to affect what you got going on. So, you just have to be careful with people like that because um a lot of times those friends just want them to be just where they are. if he's saying, I want to see a future with someone and I really want to be with this person and and I'm willing to make whatever necessary changes in order for us to be in a better place. And your friend, like, well, whatever, okay, because, you know, that's not what I want to do. You may need to reassess your friendship. And then the friend says he's gonna ask all the uncomfortable questions and she's gonna hate him when it's all over. And it's the other thing. Do you really want to be the kind of friend that your friends' significant others hate to see coming because you want to ask questions to try to get under people's skin and not to actually get to know people, but to just try to be a disruptor? You know, Chris, watch out for that friend. He's not gonna change. And he is going to be a problem if you are continuing to try to change towards something else. Anyway. All right. So over here on this date with Jody and Aaron, they're in their costumes, they're getting ready for the photo shoot, they looking their devilish best, and then the photographer is getting good angles. But I'm looking at all these pictures here, and I'm looking at how, even though it looks good, if photographs well, I'm looking in the eyes. The photographer says, I see a lot of passion here. I didn't see a lick of passion. What I saw were a flat face. I saw dead eyes. You know, they are getting all these photos done. I thought it was a really nice way to show off like what they do in a photo shoot. Um and they're nice looking people though, and so they give and whoever did the editing for the photos did a really good job. He did a pretty good job uh photographing these two. Those are some nice intense photos there. I really like the way this one came out. He got them up against the wall with a little bit of light so that they can kind of get it into the ambiance. Um, and he grabs her chin and they go in. He goes in for a kiss, and I'm like, Aaron, you went in for a kiss? What? But then I noticed she don't look like she wanted him to kiss her. She ain't really kissing back, even though the picture looks great right there. Yeah, I don't think that's what. Anyway, so he says in the confessional, he enjoyed the kiss and everything, and she is like, I didn't feel nothing. This is an uphill battle. This is just gonna be an uphill battle for them. So back at the house, Chris and Sandia introduced their guests to each other. Chris asked his friend to calm down, and he is really hoping he ain't messing stuff up. And I'm like, he trying to mess things up. He don't want you trying to be in a relationship, because then that means he won't have anybody to roll with. He just trying to, put everybody on the defensive. It's a lot that's happening. Anyway, so they have a sit down, and Sandia's friend is asking Chris, are you ready for love and a commitment? Now, Chris's friend is doing all kind of things, being snarky, acting like a little middle schooler. Um, the friend is asking, well, are you looking for a monogamous relationship? And Sandia's like, yeah, yeah, of course. And he's like, well, I just think that's stupid. Look at her face. Listen, his friend is saying everything you need to know about this relationship. And if y'all continue down the path and want to be in a relationship, and this friend is a strong influence, this is going to be a problem, because he seems like the type that will just sabotage a friend's relationship because he just want to kick it with the boys. And this can be problematic, because if you're trying to build something, you have someone trying to tear stuff down. Unless Chris is just a really strong person and won't allow it, he's going to infiltrate the relationship. And then the friend also says, well, he Chris is like, well, this guy's not like, I'm not like him or whatever. And he's like, well, I'm just telling her, when you meet the girl, you need sex, and whatever. And then he says if the sex is bad, then he know his boy is not gonna stay. And Sandia, you know, is just like, if you like if this is what you're like, then you need to let me know now so I don't waste my time. And I don't know, a lot of times your friends, who you keep as your friends, says a lot about who you are as a person. So I don't know. Then his friend goes into this thing about men don't cheat, they explore options. Look at their faces when he said that. You know, he says, and a monogamous guy doesn't exist. And then Chris finally steps in to like make him hush, because whatever progress he's made, he gonna make sure that there ain't gonna be no progress after that. Cause child. Mm-mm. In the next scene, Josh and let's see, Jody and Aaron discuss post picture, post, costume, how everything went. I'm hoping that he noticed how distant she was during this conversation. He was like, the kiss was good. She was like, yeah, I guess so. And now she's feeling really bad for real, because what do you say to somebody that you shared a kiss with, and he was all like excited and she was not? Look at him staring at her like she's knowing the way that he's looking at her, that there is something there that she just doesn't feel. She's not feeling him on the same level that he feels her. And this is from what we said from the beginning. She's not into him like that. I think they would be great friends. I think they do well online talking. I think they're probably good for being buddies and talking about things together. But as far as having a relationship, no, this ain't it. This is absolutely not it for them. Um, so they get back to the house, and when they get in, it was like they had an argument the way that they walked in. It was crazy because the energy just fell like flat. Um, so they go in, they having a little cold piece of one thing Jody gonna do is eat. And everybody's kind of looking at them like, y'all okay? Is y'all okay? And I guess they okay, but they didn't really seem like everything was okay. Um, so there's a lot happening here. I don't know, something happened with the rest of my slides, so I'll have to pull them from somewhere else. Um, so Josh and Chris are asking how things are going, and he's saying that he's slowly figuring out that things aren't where they need to be. And he also says, um every time I think I have her figured out, she does something else. So a lot of changes end up happening for them. And then like there's nothing that's happening with their relationship, because he's thinking that they're moving forwardly and they're on the same page, and they're not on the same page, because I don't think she really wants them to be on the same page. To be honest, I don't think she's ready for a relationship. And like I said, she's probably more comfortable, with being in a long distance relationship. There's less pressure. It's just simply less pressure when you're in a long distance relationship and you don't have to be in the same room with that person. Um my slides messed up, so we're just going to use this for now. Uh so she gets back on that computer and props up, and he's just like, I don't know what else I can do. Josh and Greg briefly talk about his missteps. Maybe they can get back on track. Now, while this is happening, Josh is talking to Greg because he is looking to go to the boom boom room with Shay. Shay is getting her stuff together, and in the meantime, Dymond pulls her to the side. Let me do that. Dymond pulls her to the side and says, well, Shay, I need to tell you something. Let me tell you something. Dymond need to hush because of the fact that, number one, a lot of the stuff that she's sharing is not her business. She and Aaron they're the self-proclaimed relationship gurus. They have decided that they are. So she pulls Shay to the side to say, Alexis, which was in episodes 1 and 2 and no longer in the house, that she said that Josh was trying to have sex with her the night that she was in the house. So she was only in the house for one night. Um and so she said Josh was trying to get with her in the hallway. Dymond says Alexis wanted to tell Shay. And I'm wondering, why didn't Dymond allow Alexis to be the one to tell Shay instead of her? She could have facilitated a phone call, something. Shay said she was in the room and laid down, and then she woke up and those two were gone. And she never wakes up out of her sleep, but she did this time. I don't know if, again, I don't really know who to believe in this situation. I think that, to be honest, if Josh did those things, he probably would have said something about it, being that he came clean about the whole baby situation. I think that sometimes we got to consider the source. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with Alexis, but I do know sometimes people like to be disruptive in other people's relationships when they're not getting what they want or need out of their own relationships. And I think a lot of times people forget that, sometimes that happens, where you are dealing with people who just want to mess stuff up for other people. And I'm saying, if let's say she was the one initiating the situation and he turned her down, what's there to talk about? You know, other than now you're upset because someone didn't follow up on your advances. So I think that's a problem in itself. I think also that you have to look at, nobody really knows each other in that house. So how am I going to be able to trust what you said was true and what this other person said? You're supposed to have some type of trust with the person that you came there with, but at the same time, do you really know that person? I don't know. And they, you know what I'm saying? Like, no one really knows what they know and who they know. So she's going, she's like, all right, well, don't say anything, don't confront him until you get some proof, blah, 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 blah. Well, Shay goes straight to the boom boom room and goes straight to Josh and goes, listen, this girl saying these things about you, da 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 da, what's going on? And my thing, like I said, Dymond says, don't say anything because you don't have proof. But Dymond, you ain't have proof. You just went off of somebody calling you. So what's the difference? What is the difference? Anyway, they are going back and forth. And she's like, what happened when y'all disappeared? He said Alexis wanted to talk about a possible threesome. And he told her that no, that wouldn't go down. So then he said, well, she started talking loudly. And so they stepped out of the room in order to not wake up Shay. But she wants to know why he didn't tell her before then. He said, well, we talked about it. And she said, nope, no, you didn't, blah, blah, blah. They're going back and forth and things are starting to get heated. Now, they in a boom boom room. And I don't know where Dymond came from with her night clothes on and her everything. She come popping up in the room. And trying to, I guess, diffuse the situation, but it could have been easily diffused if she had just not said anything, unless she had proof. I think the problem starts with other people, the outside influences. If she and Aaron would stick to what's wrong with them and try to resolve what's between him and her sister, then they wouldn't have time to be trying to talk to somebody else about their situation. So Dymond, she said, well, I'm ready to go. And Dymond said, well, I just think you should sleep it off. So she goes to the main house and crying and saying, she's pretty much done with it. And Dymond's like, I don't want you to waste 12 years. Girl, hush. Because then she says, I really didn't want to be in the middle of this, but you in the middle, girl. You are in all the way in the middle. Like, here's the situation, and here's you. You in the middle, like right there. You in the middle like a finger. Um, so I just find it hard to believe that she didn't want to be in the middle because she simply didn't have to share what she heard. If there was no proof, there was no reason to talk about it. So this episode is ending with the escalation of Shay and Josh arguing over whether or not he's telling the truth. And this is the end of an episode that's just messy. This season is messy. This show is messy. There are no parameters. It's almost no, I don't see why this is a thing. Like, we got to do some work. If this show comes back for another season, you need some parameters. You need a different way to set up that house. You need, if you're going to do games and stuff with the couples, they need to earn prizes that help them to become a better couple. You need to have things set aside. It just feels like everything is being thrown at the wall and just trying to see what sticks at this point. And to me, nothing's sticking for the audience, because everything that I've read, everybody, every review that I see, when you go into the comments, when you looking around, everybody's like, why is this show on? What are we doing? What is the purpose? What are we getting at the end? Other than some people are going to decide to be with each other virtually still, and some people are not. What are we doing to help push this forward? I'd like to see more of Dr. Allie. I'd like to see her doing more one-on-ones with everyone. And then the other relationship coach that they brought on, bring these people in, have some group sessions or something. I don't know what's coming up, but some of this stuff could happen and it would be a better situation instead of focusing on sensuality and sexuality. Focus on connection and actual connection. What do you know about this person? What do you know about their family? What goals do y'all have in common? What are y'all working toward? What do you want to be in a month? What do you want to be in a year? Is somebody going to be moving to the other person's place? Are y'all continuing this outside of this experiment? What steps are you taking to make sure that this is going to happen, or this is going to be a sustainable relationship outside of this show? Like, where is the support for all of that? We're not seeing that. We're just seeing a bunch of people talking and getting upset and being mad and having babies in their cities and stuff. I don't know. And proposing to folks. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Of course, y'all know this show kind of gets on my nerves. I don't know if you noticed, but this show gets on my last nerve, because why are we doing this? It's just, I don't know. I think that it's a good idea, but it's just not been executed well, and they just need to work on the execution of things. I think that, in order for the audience to not lose any kind of interest, they're going to have to look at some things and decide what's going to work for the audience. Yeah. If y'all have any ideas, or if you have any thoughts, please post them in the comment section. If you enjoyed today's show, please share it. Please like and subscribe to Heather's Passion Academy on YouTube. Of course, I am on Facebook as well, but I do the reviews on YouTube. I will come up with some other reviews. There are some other shows that I plan on reviewing. I had to write them down real quick. One of them is Love and Marriage Huntsville, so I'll be coming back later to do a review of that show. We have a Double Down with the Doricos. I'll be doing something with that as well. We have several Prime and what is this other thing? Netflix show. There's a lot of shows that are out, so I'll be spending the summer looking at a lot of those shows and making sure that we get the opportunity to review those and talk about them a little bit more and do the things that we need to do to make these things better. If you'd like to come on and do some panel reviewing with me, please let me know. Just message me and I'll add you. I'll add you for 1 or 2 shows. It'll be cool. But other than that, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.